Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into a topic that's, well, kind of universal. The Imago Mater. You might be thinking, what's that? Well, it's basically a fancy term for the archetype of motherhood. But we're not just talking about, like, the biological stuff here.
Right, and what's so interesting is that the Imago Mater, it's not just some random idea. We see it everywhere in all these different cultures, religions, across history. It kind of makes you think, wow, this must be pretty deep in our minds, right?
Absolutely. And get this. For this deep dive, we didn't just stick to one type of source. We're talking myths,
Yeah.
the latest research, personal stories. It's like putting together a giant puzzle, right? To figure out what this powerful force is all about.
Yeah, that's key. I mean, think about it. The Imago Mater touches on everything: biology, psychology, spirituality. It's not just about one thing, it's about the whole experience of motherhood and how it affects us all.
Okay, so let's break this down. The book starts with the science. It mentions something called maternal imprinting, which sounds kind of intense.
It is. This is where the book gets really interesting. It talks about how, like, from the moment a child is born, a mother's care literally shapes how their brain develops.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, think about it. A mother's scent, her voice, her touch. These aren't just comforting, they're actually building the foundation for the child's future.
So those early interactions, they're actually like wiring the brain for certain outcomes.
Exactly. A newborn's brain, it's this super complex system, right? And it's being molded by its surroundings. And who's the most important person in those surroundings? The mother. Whether she's there or not has a huge impact on how that brain develops, especially when it comes to emotions, social stuff, even how smart they get.
The book mentions oxytocin, the love hormone. What does that have to do with all this?
Well, when a mother touches her baby, it releases oxytocin in both of them. It's what gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling, that bond. But here's the thing, oxytocin does way more than just make you feel good. It actually helps neurons and synapses grow in the baby's brain.
So it's like physically building the brain.
Yeah, pretty much. It's laying down the infrastructure for healthy development.
Wow, that's crazy. Makes you realize how important that early bond is. But the book doesn't stop there, right? It also talks about the spiritual side of the Imago Mater.
Right. And this is where things get really interesting. The book looks at how this idea of a mother goddess shows up in tons of different cultures, like Isis in ancient Egypt, Guanyin in Buddhism. These powerful figures, they represent the life-giving energy of motherhood.
So it's like everyone kind of gets this idea that motherhood is connected to something bigger than us, something almost mystical.
Yeah, exactly. And these goddesses, they weren't just about having babies. They represented huge GE concepts, like the cycle of life, the balance between creation and destruction, even the whole idea of existence itself. It's a powerful way to think about motherhood as a force that connects us to something way bigger than our own lives.
Okay, so we've got the science of how a mother affects a child's brain, and this spiritual view of motherhood as this, like, divine power. What other aspects of the Imago Mater does the book look at?
Well, one of the biggest themes is the idea of maternal sacrifice. And we're not talking about, like, heroic acts necessarily. It's about the everyday things mothers do, putting their own needs last, working tirelessly, constantly giving to their kids.
It's interesting you bring that up, because I think a lot of people, they don't fully grasp all the sacrifices mothers make,
Yeah,
especially these days.
it's true. And the book makes a really good point. It says this sacrifice, even though it's beautiful and often necessary, can be a double-edged sword. It can teach kids gratitude, resilience, but it can also make them feel obligated, even guilty. It's this complex thing that we should definitely explore more as we go deeper.
Yeah, for sure. It makes you realize that even something as positive as a mother sacrifice can have, like, unintended consequences. It's about understanding all the different layers of this archetype.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to do as we keep diving into the Imago Mater. There's so much more to uncover. And it's going to make us rethink some of our assumptions and see motherhood in a whole new light.
Well, I'm hooked already.
Yeah.
And we've only just scratched the surface. I feel like I'm already seeing motherhood in a totally different way.
Oh, this is just the beginning. As we go deeper into the psychological, societal, even the cosmic dimensions of the Imago Mater, you're going to gain a whole new understanding of this powerful force and how it's shaped humanity. So, we were talking about all the different facets of the Imago Mater, and the book really goes deep on the psychology of it all.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, what goes on in our minds because of all this?
Exactly. And one of the coolest things it talks about is the mother as a healer.
Ooh, okay. This is interesting. I mean, we all know moms can make things better when we're kids, right?
Yeah.
But is there like actual science behind that.
There is. The book goes into all this research on like the physical effects of a mother's care. Like, get this. Studies show that when a mom touches her baby, it can actually reduce pain and help them heal faster.
Seriously. So it's not just about feeling love, there's actually something happening in the body too.
Yep. And it's not just about physical wounds either. The book talks about how a mother's comfort is huge for helping kids deal with, emotional stuff, trauma even. It's like her love creates this safe space where they can process those tough emotions and start to heal.
It's funny, thinking back to when I was a kid, no matter what was going on, my mom always had this way of making me feel safe, like everything was going to be okay. Just being around her calmed me down.
And that's not just you. Research shows that when kids get that consistent, loving care from their mothers, they're more likely to, bounce back from tough stuff. They develop better coping skills, It's like that early experience of being loved sets them up for better mental health later on.
That's pretty powerful stuff. It shows just how much mothers shape us emotionally, even as adults. But the book doesn't just focus on the science, right? It goes into the spiritual side of this healing power too, doesn't it?
It does, and it's really cool how this whole mother as a healer idea pops up in myths and religions all over the world. Like, think about the Virgin Mary in Christianity or Guanyin in Buddhism.
Yeah.
They're always shown as having this divine power to heal and protect, right? Like, they embody that nurturing, compassionate energy we associate with mothers.
Just like this primal human need we all have,
Yep.
right? For comfort, for protection, for healing. And it's not limited to any one culture or time period.
Exactly. And the book looks at how this archetype, this idea, shows up in different forms, from like traditional healing practices to a mother simply praying for her child. It makes you realize that motherhood is something that connects us to something bigger than ourselves, something that can actually, mend and restore.
Okay, so we've talked about the mother as a healer, like physically and spiritually. What other roles does the book explore?
Well, one of the most interesting chapters is about the mother as a guide. And this guidance, it takes many forms. It can be practical, emotional, even spiritual.
I'm curious, how exactly does a mother guide her child?
Think about all the things mothers teach us, like just the basics. How to walk, how to talk, how to eat. They teach us about the world, show us different plants and animals, explain how things work. But it goes deeper than that. They guide us emotionally too, helping us understand our feelings, how to deal with relationships, how to figure out who we are.
It's true. They really do show us the way, in more ways than one.
And it doesn't stop when we grow up either. Mothers keep giving us advice, support, encouragement, even as adults. That bond, it creates a connection where they become like trusted advisors.
Oh, I could definitely relate to that. Even now, as an adult, I still go to my mom for advice on all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's like she's got this wisdom that comes from living life and understanding people.
And that's one of the things the book really highlights, this unique wisdom that mothers have. It's not just about having all the answers. It's about having lived through life's ups and downs, making mistakes, and gaining a certain perspective you can only get through experience.
So they're not just our guides when we're kids, but throughout our lives.
In many ways, yeah. And the book argues that this guidance is super important today, especially with all the challenges we face, like the job market constantly changing, so much information coming at us all the time, the world feeling kind of chaotic. It's like they're that steady hand we need.
Yeah, that makes sense. Someone to keep us grounded, give us that reassurance when we need it.
Exactly. But this guidance, even though it's so valuable, it can also be tricky. The book talks about how there can be tension between a mother wanting to guide and a child needing their independence. It's like a dance, Both sides have to adapt as the relationship changes over time.
That's a good point. It's about balance, giving guidance, but also respecting boundaries. The relationship changes as we grow up, but that bond is still there.
Exactly. And that leads us to another fascinating part of the Imago Mater, the mother as an advocate.
Advocate. What does that even mean in terms of motherhood?
Think of it like this. Fighting for your child's well-being, their rights, their opportunities, standing up for them when they can't stand up for themselves. It's that fierce, protective instinct that makes mothers go to any lengths to make sure their kids are safe and happy.
That's a powerful image. Like they become warriors.
Yeah.
Battling anything that gets in their child's way.
And the book has some amazing examples of this. Mothers who fought for their kids to get an education or who advocated for social change that helped entire communities. It shows how a mother's love can be this force for good, creating positive change in a more just world.
So it's not just about fighting for your own kid,
Yeah.
but using that maternal instincts to make the world better for all kids.
Exactly. And this advocacy, it often comes with a deep sense of empathy and compassion. Mothers have this incredible ability to understand and respond to what others need, which makes them strong advocates for anyone who's vulnerable or marginalized.
Like that maternal energy expands outwards, right?
Yeah.
From caring for one child to caring for all children.
Right. And that brings us to another critical role mothers play, the provider.
I think this one often gets overlooked. It's easy to take for granted all the things mothers do to keep everything running smoothly.
Absolutely. The book really dives into this, highlighting how mothers provide not just the physical stuff like food, shelter, clothing, but also the emotional nourishment that kids need to thrive. They create this feeling of security, belonging, unconditional love, which is the foundation for healthy development.
It's like that feeling of knowing that no matter what happens out there, you've got this safe haven with your mom.
And that feeling of safety is crucial, not just for kids, but for adults too. The book talks about how mothers often keep providing that emotional support and guidance even when their kids are grown up. It shows that the bond between a mother and child can be a source of strength throughout their lives.
And it's not just about meeting those immediate needs either, right? Mothers are always thinking ahead about setting their kids up for success later on.
Right. They're always teaching values, life skills, providing opportunities to learn and grow. They're setting the stage for their kids' future.
It's like they're investing in their kids, both emotionally and practically.
Exactly. And this investment often comes with sacrifice. The book talks about how mothers constantly put their own needs aside to make sure their kids are okay, whether it's working extra hours to pay the bills or giving up their own ambitions to focus on family.
It's like they're always weighing their own wants against what their kids need, making choices that put their family first.
And those decisions are tough. The book acknowledges that. Mothers have to make difficult choices, compromises, trying to balance their own fulfillment with the demands of motherhood.
It's a reminder that motherhood isn't always easy or glamorous. It takes hard work, sacrifice, and making those tough calls.
It is. And yet, mothers keep showing up, giving their all, nurturing the next generation. That's why this Imago Mater, this idea of motherhood, is so powerful. It's a force that goes beyond individual lives, shaping history and influencing the whole fabric of society.
It's true. Like mothers are the unsung heroes, quietly shaping the world through their love, care, and commitment to their kids.
And as we keep exploring this archetype, we'll see how that influence goes way beyond individual families, impacting communities, cultures, even how humans have evolved. The Imago Mater is something that deserves our attention, respect, and gratitude.
So we've covered a lot of ground: healer, guide, advocate, provider. But the book goes even further, suggesting this whole Imago Mater thing, it has like a cosmic dimension.
Yeah, it gets pretty wild. The book argues that motherhood isn't just about our experiences here on Earth. It links to something much bigger, something that's woven into the fabric of existence itself.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about all those creation myths we find in different cultures. There's often a mother goddess at the heart of it all, the source of life, the primordial womb, all that. Like, she's where everything comes from.
So it's like saying that impulse to create, to nurture, it's built into the universe itself.
Exactly. And it's not just mythology either. The book looks at biology too, points out that drive to nurture, to protect, it's not just a human thing. You see it in tons of animals all across the animal kingdom. Like, it's hardwired into life itself, something that pushes evolution forward.
Wow, that's pretty amazing when you think about it. We kind of take those instincts for granted. But zooming out like this, it's kind of awe-inspiring, like we're tapping into a universal energy.
Right. And the book gets even more out there. It even touches on some mind-blowing theories, like the idea that the universe itself is this self-organizing system, constantly pushing for more complexity, more connection. It suggests this drive to create, to nurture. It's not just biology. It might actually be a fundamental law of reality.
Okay, now we're getting deep. So we're going with this cosmic perspective. What does it mean for mothers?
Well, the book says that, in a way, mothers are like co-creators with the universe. They bring new life into the world, nurture and shape that life, pass on knowledge and wisdom from past generations. It's like they're the bridge between the past, present, and future.
That's a pretty profound way to look at it. Like they're carrying the torch of humanity.
It is, and it shows how important this role is. Mothers have a huge responsibility, recognizing how sacred life is, understanding that their choices ripple out and affect way more than just their families.
But the book doesn't just stay up in the clouds, right? It brings it back down to earth, and looks at the real-life struggles of mothers today.
Oh, totally. It's very grounded in reality. The book acknowledges that being a mother these days is tough. It talks about all the challenges, juggling work and family, the constant pressure of social media, feeling overwhelmed by all the information out there.
It's true. Mothers today are facing a whole different set of obstacles than previous generations did.
Exactly. And the book really stresses how important self-care is for mothers. It encourages them to build support systems, set boundaries, and push back against all those crazy expectations society puts on them.
It's about giving themselves a break, right? Allowing themselves to be human, to mess up sometimes, to figure out what works best for them and their families.
Yeah, there's no right way to be a mother. And the book celebrates all those different ways. It shares stories of mothers from all walks of life, all facing different things, figuring out their own paths. It shows that the Imago Mater, even though it's this universal idea, it plays out in so many different ways.
So even though the struggles might be different, that core desire to nurture, protect, and guide the next generation, that's still the heart of it all.
Exactly. And that's the power of this archetype. It connects us to something timeless, something that goes way beyond our individual lives and speaks to what makes us human.
This deep dive has been incredible. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of the Imago Mater. It's way more complex and powerful than I ever realized.
It really is. It's something we should all be thinking about, learning about, and exploring.
So if people want to keep learning, where should they go?
Well, the book we've been discussing, Imago Mater, it's available on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books. It's a really insightful look at motherhood that will make you question your assumptions and give you a whole new appreciation for this powerful force.
That's great advice. Thanks again for walking us through all of this. It's been a fascinating journey.
It was my pleasure.
And all our listeners, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.